Coming up on the 49ers Report by Chat Sports, we're going to take a look at 5 breakout candidates who really could burst onto the scene and have masterful seasons for the Niners here this upcoming season. But first, want to give a shout out to Manscaped. Warm weather is here. Summer is right around the corner. A lot of us are spending time outside by the pool. Don't be that guy who the ladies stay away from because you're way too hairy. Trim your nether region, stay clean down below the belt, thanks to our friends at Manscaped, the provider for the best men's grooming product tools. And right now, if you're watching the 49ers Report, a custom link available for you. If you use that link at the bottom of your screen, manscaped.com/49ers, enter the promo code 49ers for 20% off and free shipping. I use these products on a weekly basis because I'm not that hairy, but when I do, I take care of it with Manscaped. On today's show, I have cooked up a list of 5 49ers who I think are guaranteed to break out in 2022. Now, I'm putting this out in the public sphere. The receipts are there. I'm very confident that these 5 49ers are going to break out. If you're with me, let me know in the comment section right now. Breakout candidate number 1. I'm going with Brandon Aiyuk. I think Trey Lance is going to be able to bring the best out of Aiyuk going into a very pivotal year for him as he enters year 3 as a former first-round pick. Now, last year in 2021, it was a tale of two halves for Brandon Aiyuk. In the first 6 games, he wasn't getting targeted. He was in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse. A lot of people had questioned his effort on the practice field, and that translated onto the game field. First 6 games, he only had 16 targets as the number 2 wide receiver on this team behind Deebo Samuel, 9 catches in 6 games for only 96 yards, average yards per catch at 10.5, and only 1 touchdown. But starting with that Chicago Bears game, which was an epic back-and-forth matchup in which the 49ers were able to come out victorious and turn their season around, Aiyuk from that point on proved to be one of the more dangerous wide receivers in the NFC. Last 11 games, his targets up to 68, 47 catches, 730 yards. He was a much more explosive player, average yards per catch at 15.5 and 4 touchdowns, including that game winner late in the year against the Cincinnati Bengals in overtime. Now, Aiyuk has a little bit of pressure on him going into year 3. There's pressure on him to produce, especially with Trey Lance as the starting quarterback, who I think is going to be able to unlock a different dimension in Aiyuk's game as a vertical threat. Aiyuk said this: I think everybody has personal goals that they want to achieve. I know that comes alongside with everything we want to do as a football team. I'm just trying to really maximize my spot, my role that I have in this offense, and really let that take it where it's at. Now, when you think about Aiyuk in his first couple of years, he's had to play with the revolving door of quarterbacks. Last year, primarily, it was Jimmy Garoppolo. The year before that, it was Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard. And even after missing a couple games in his rookie year and the instability at the quarterback position, Aiyuk put up big numbers. Even after being in the witness protection program the first 6 weeks last year, he put up big numbers. I think with Trey Lance's arm strength and a little bit of a change in the 49ers offense where they're going to push the ball downfield, Brandon Aiyuk is going to be the beneficiary of that, and his game is going to be maximized because of the ability of Trey Lance, and he's going to go on to have a monster season in 2022, and I'm going to make a prediction right here, right now, that Brandon Aiyuk is going to be able to surpass 1,000 yards receiving this upcoming year and be a very good bona fide threat alongside Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. If you think Aiyuk can break out, hopefully I was able to convince you, if you disagreed with me to start today's show, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If you don't think he's going to break out, comment why you don't think he is going to be a breakout candidate. Breakout candidate number 2, a guy who is in the news this week. That is Javon Kinlaw. Look, he's a former first-round pick out of South Carolina who, when you see him on the field, you're like, how does this guy not dominate games? Well, he hasn't been able to dominate games his first 2 years in the NFL because he hasn't been able to stay on the field. Lingering knee issues have caused him to miss a lot of games. And so far in 2 years, he's only been able to play 18 games total. And because of that, his production has been hit. 1.5 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and 5 quarterback hits. Now, in his rookie year, there were certainly some flashes of him living up to the billing of being a first-round pick, but he hasn't been able to put it all together. I think one of the reasons that he lashed out at Grant Cohn, he's feeling the pressure of needing to produce, and I think he's motivated to have a really good year. This year, because of that fifth-year option looming, going into year 3, he needs to prove his worth. And if he doesn't, I don't think he's going to be on the 49ers long, and his NFL career will come into danger. If he is able to produce, I think the 49ers might think about giving him a contract extension, and he could be a pillar in this defensive line, a defensive line that is stacked all across the board, and that's why I'm hoping Kinlaw is able to stay healthy, because if you pair him up with Chris Kocurek, I think that Kocurek is going to be able to bring the best out of him, and Kinlaw can impress a lot of people this upcoming year. On the Madden scale, I want you to go Madden style right now. Rate Javon Kinlaw as a player on a scale of 1 to 100. Let me know in the comment section, and stay tuned because we have 3 more breakout candidates to get to. First, though, one of our breakout candidates who we're about to talk about, he can do it all on the football field. And if you want to be able to do it all in the bedroom, you can do so with the Ultra Premium Collection from Manscaped, because you'll be looking good and you'll be smelling good at the same time, and your significant other will not be able to turn you down. $39.99 for all 5 products on your screen right now if you go to manscaped.com/49ers. We're talking body wash, shampoo and conditioner, body spray, deodorant, as well as chapstick. That link is available in the comment section and the description of this video right now. It's manscaped.com/49ers, the most elite and the best men's grooming product tools on the market today. Now, that was a little bit of a tease. I said we're going to get to a breakout candidate who can do it all, and that's Trey Lance. And I think it's all going to come together in year 2 in his first season as a starting quarterback. Trey Lance is a guy who I think is going to make this offense less predictable and more explosive. And there's been a lot of comps, a lot of similarities that people are making between Josh Allen and his rawness coming out of Wyoming and Trey Lance and his rawness coming out of North Dakota State. And when you think about it, similar levels of college competition. Josh Allen at Wyoming, Trey Lance at North Dakota State. Now, obviously, Josh Allen played a lot more in his rookie year as compared to Trey area, so the sample size a lot more than what Trey was able to do in a handful of snaps, including 2 starts last year. What we can look at, though, is some of the deep numbers that really do go a long way in telling the story for a quarterback. So in his rookie year, Josh Allen struggled a lot, and a lot of people were not confident that he was going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's proven to be that ever since that rookie year, and he's a year-in, year-out MVP contender. So his rookie year, he completed 169 of 320 passing attempts. That was good for a completion percentage of 53%. That's awful. League average is about 65%, 66%. Yards per attempt, 6.5. Interception percentage, 3.1. Yards per completion, a little north of 12. Trey Lance's numbers in a limited sample size, actually better than what Josh Allen did. And of course, going from year 1 to year 2, Allen tinkered with his mechanics like what Trey Lance is doing. And I think we've seen that Trey Lance's arm motion throughout OTAs is a little bit cleaner. 41 of 71 last year for Trey. Completion percentage just shy of 58%. Yards per attempt, 8.5. That's 2 yards more than Josh Allen. Interception percentage lower, which is a positive. And yards per completion, 14.7, which is good and goes to show you the big playability of this offense, which is why I also told you that I think Brandon Aiyuk is going to break out. Now, the running game this year is something that I think Kyle Shanahan is really going to focus on. And I think that's why he has a stable of running backs in this offense. Elijah Mitchell, Trey Sermon, Ty Davis-Price, back-to-back third-round picks, those latter 2 guys. You have Jeff Wilson and JaMychal Hasty. And I think Kyle Shanahan's thought process is, okay, Trey Lance is a little bit inexperienced, and there's going to be some bumps along the road for him as a passer. But if we can take some pressure off of him, run the football a lot, and not rely on Trey to throw the ball 35, 40 times, it will set him up for success. And I think that's actually going to allow Trey Lance to get some easy looks in the passing game off of play action. In addition to Kyle Shanahan being the head coach and legitimate weapons for Trey in Debo, Aiyuk, George Kittle, Trent Williams protecting him. Hopefully Danny Gray has a big rookie year and Jawan Jennings as that security blanket of a wide receiver. I think Trey Lance is going to break out. But what type of year does the faithful think that TL is going to have? G for great, A for average, B for bad. I gave you some options. Use that optionality to your disposal in the comment section right now. While you're down there, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're about 500 people away from 60,000 subscribers right here on the 49ers Report. I took over last year at the NFL Draft. We had 33,000 subscribers. So in 1 year, we've been able to grow insurmountably. We're going to continue to grow as the largest 49ers News and Rumors channel on YouTube. Join the faithful family, join the party, and join the movement by hitting that red subscribe button. 2 more breakout candidates to talk about. Kemoko Turay, who signed a 1-year contract with the 49ers in free agency, coming over from the Indianapolis Colts. This 49ers defensive line might be the strength of this football team this year in 2022. Because all across the board, they're about 2 or 3 guys deep at every single position on the edge as well as on the interior. Now, you take a gander at what Turay did last year. It was the best year of his career. So you're getting this guy at less than $2 million coming off a career year, and he gets to play on a stacked defensive line with one of the best defenses in the NFL. 5.5 sacks last year in 13 games. 5 tackles for loss, 8 quarterback hits, and 1 forced fumble. The pedigree is certainly there. He finally broke out last year, and maybe he even has a better year. Now, if he breaks out and has 6.5 sacks, that's great. But could he have a little bit more? The ability is certainly there for Kemoko Turay to be a very good edge rusher and a bargain at that edge spot because he only signed that 1-year deal worth less than $2 million. 2018 second-round pick out of Rutgers. In 2019, he broke his ankle, so his career got off to a slow start. From 2018 to 2020 combined, he had 6.5 sacks, and last year alone, with a really good defensive line on that Colts team, 5.5 sacks. That's why I think he's set up nicely to have a really good year for the second consecutive campaign. Now, talking about this 49ers defensive line, they're stacked, man. They're really deep. They're really talented, led by the great Nick Bosa, who Pro Football Focus said is the better player under the age of 25 than Justin Herbert. That right there, that's lofty praise. But first, fill in the blank before we get to our last breakout candidate. The 49ers have a top blank defensive line in the NFL. 32 teams in the NFL. Find your answer and let me know that answer in the comment section. Breakout candidate number 5. It's Trey Sermon. 1, because as I talked about, I think the 49ers going to run the football a lot. 2, I'm a believer in this guy's talent. In the short amount of time and the limited snaps that he got last year, I'm like, yo, Trey Sermon has some pop. Trey Sermon has some explosiveness. The production was so limited last year, but this year, playing in this offense, given the benefit of the play action and all of the other weapons on this team, and hopefully an offensive line that I have concerns about being able to open up some big holes for Trey Sermon as a one-cut runner. I think Trey Sermon is going to prove his worth, and he's going to prove people why he was drafted in the 3rd round last year. That is breakout candidate number 5. I'm expecting big things for him in 2022. So our 5 breakout candidates are all too early version with months to go until the regular season. Brandon Aiyuk, wide receiver. Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle. Trey Lance, the starting quarterback. Kemoko Turay, defensive end. Trey Sermon, the running back. Some rules that we usually use here at Chat Sports: cannot be rookies. And none of these players rookies, but a lot of them going into pivotal years here for the San Francisco 49ers. Before we hop on out of here, name your top 49ers breakout candidate for me in the comment section right now. It can be one of the players who we discussed during this exercise or a different guy on the team. And if it's somebody different, surprise me right now.